Despite the many social and political problems the world faced, in the 1950s and 60s, the space race fueled a remarkable sense of optimism. For a while, we turned our attention away from the epic challenges threatening the preservation of Earth and gazed outward to the final frontier. We made numerous breakthroughs and eventually reached the moon. Neither an effort of this scale nor the imagination that accompanied it through a golden age of science fiction has been repeated since. Today, this kind of optimism is lacking. Reaching for the stars might not be essential to our survival, but it probes something more intrinsic, understanding our purpose in the universe. The answers we discover and create out there might inevitably bring with them the solutions we have desperately been searching for. According to the Canadian Space Agency, we are 100 years away from viable civilian travel to Mars. Considering the public sentiment from the mid-20th century that we would be living on the moon by now, this puts us a little behind. A significant infrastructure, much bigger than the one that brought us to the moon, needs to be built to support this. Setting 2117 as our milestone, we look backwards from here to explore, through a dialectic iterative inquiry, the development of the macro infrastructure. Our success at progress depends on whether the common constructive purpose dominates or is nullified by its destructive counterpurpose. While the technological and physiological objects for entering space are essential, our inquiry explores the ideologies of power that compose the systems of knowledge coordinated to produce these objects. To close the gap between actual and desired states, we speculated future activity with causal layered analysis, revealing paradigms and modes of reasoning employed by each of the four archetypes.
Each of our four ideologies are influenced by their ethical and behavioral platforms. Since each power has a balancing loop and interplay with the other powers, the Venn diagram explores the emergence of ideal properties where they intersect. The epic undertaking of space exploration can only be accomplished as a shared effort, requiring all stakeholders to exercise trust in order to mutually gain.
If the trend in cooperation exercised in current space exploration continues, we can project a future structure of intertwined knowledge sharing that will produce 3 generations of positive possible outcomes. Generation 1 is just enough to get there. These are discoverers and pioneers. Generation 2, space enlightenment. These are our builders and policymakers. Generation 3, the Martian. Families and natively born descendants of Martian colonists.
The journey to shape Mars into a new Earth where its atmosphere, temperature, and surface ecology is habitable will take 4 phases. We are currently in the first phase, labeled exploration, where humans leverage both robotic and telescopic surveys to understand and solve major scientific questions for humans to settle. Once mankind can safely land on Mars, and we answer the questions on how we can conduct ourselves, we can move into the base building phase of our journey. The purpose of this phase is to explore agricultural, industrial, chemical, and civil engineering research to master the ways humans can produce food, clothing, and shelter required to support large populations. Once mankind has hit this level of mastery, the settlement phase can occur. Humans would look to populate and produce some kind of export that allows for an economically viable civilization. This will then lead us into the 4th and final stage, which would be terraforming. This is where the atmosphere of Mars will change, making the air breathable and completely covering the planet with photosynthetic plants.
Using 4 perspectives of a speculative narrative drawn from science, literature, and current events, we have created a worldview through a systems thinking approach to reveal emergent properties that could expand our concept of humanity beyond our terrestrial understanding.